Hello, everybody. It's Kelly. Just getting this ready for you. I think that's looking pretty straight. I'll check it. Okay, I think it looks pretty good. So, better late than never tonight. It was one of those days where things were just a little crazy. But I got here, and that's the most important thing. And I have made rare appearances on Friday nights lately, so I really wanted to be able to do this tonight. So hopefully we'll get a few people joining us. So today we're going to do some blasts from the past scrapbooking. I want to scrapbook this photo of having morning coffee on my deck, and I'm reading on my tablet here and having some morning coffee with my favorite coffee mug. And just, it was a beautiful summer day, I think. Yes, day before the 4th of July. So Saturday morning, I think, right? Anyway. And so Blast from the Past is going to be that I'm going to use some very old Chamel paper here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I think this came from True Story. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is True Story because the colors were a little bit more, hey Penny, the colors for True Story was Chamel's second collection, and the colors were a little bit more primary, so blues, reds, greens, which blues, yellows, and reds, and then adding greens and turquoise and that kind of stuff in. And I believe this is also part of that as well because I had a paper pad from that. So I think I want to challenge myself to use this paper. I could use this one because, you know, that's easier, right? So much easier. But why do that? Let's use this gorgeous paper. I don't know when this collection came out, but it was a long time ago. And then on top of it, I wanted to add in, oh yeah, here's True Stories right here. See, the colors are working here. This is, let me see if there's a date on this, 2014, you guys. 7 years ago. I've had these papers for 7 years in my stash. They need to get on a layout, and that's going to happen tonight. So I also have this little, originally these were supposed to be like punched out, and that never happened. So it's kind of a cut, like something that you can cut apart now, or not cut apart, but yeah, you can cut apart. That's what happened with this. But there's a teacup on this. I'm having coffee. I know it's not a mug, but you know, hey, whatever. So I want to use probably some of this, the hearts and that kind of stuff. I could use this paper in a smaller piece, maybe. I love that Delighted cup, though. I could background this, but I'm thinking that's not, I'm probably going to do a really thin border on that. I want to use this wood strip. This has also been hanging around for a long time. This is from, Chamel had these wood rulers in her very first collection, which, and I'm totally putting this on her, what do I want to say, on her Facebook page once I'm done. This is her original collection, which says Chamel, and it's also 2014, so maybe her original was maybe spring and this one was fall or something. I don't know. This is an old freckled fawn banner I thought that maybe I could use. I've got her hashtag sticker book because I believe there are colors that might work in here or that kind of a thing. I do have some wood veneers also. I want to grab. These are from the Paper Studio, and they are actually the coffee cups, you know, like the Starbucks cups. So those could work on here as well. I'm just going to pop those up there so that I don't forget them. Hey, Cynthia, good to see you. Oh, and I just found something else that maybe I could use. These came from Michael's Recollections ages ago. And they were originally part of a school collection. I've probably had these as long as I've had all this other stuff, so maybe I won't use this tonight. I'll leave it up there, but I want to use, like, the Good Morning would be perfect, right? Because of that. And I have an idea if you can see through these, so that'll be good. So, ooh, loving the wood veneers, the plans for the wood veneers here. So we'll kind of figure that out as we go. One other thing I wanted to grab that I forgot is my die cuts from Chamel's collection. So I store these in these photo and craft boxes from Recollections, and there's all my Chamel die cut pieces and that kind of stuff in there. So I'll grab that, and let's just sift through that a little bit to see what we might find that I might be able to use here. It's a new day. There's a coffee cup on that. Ooh, and this is a piece of paper that went with this that says Not a Morning Person, and the teacups there. Here's one that's already cut out. This was a paper with all these on them, and I've just cut them out. Look on the sunny side could work. Here's a journaling card, to-do list, but first coffee. That has to go on there, doesn't it? Oh, and here's a cup that says it's a new day. See, this is why we do this. Here's a huge cup that would work with that. Here's another one. So I'm glad I remembered to grab this. I would have been upset with myself if I hadn't, which is okay. Here's another one of those pink cups, so we'll do that in case we can create some clusters. There's a typewriter here. I'm going to set that aside because I have an idea that might work with. Sorry, you guys, because I don't know how exciting this is for you guys to see this, but... And how often can you say when you guys... Here's another typewriter that I'm going to throw in there. There was another Not a Morning Person. I think I have 3 of those now. We'll just grab those. Maybe those will come in handy. Here's a little flower. Let's see. There's this lovely Delighted piece that was from a cut-apart sheet. I'm just going to grab it, but I think it's a little big for what I'm thinking this is. If I want to preserve as many of those cups, being able to see as many of those cups, I don't think that'll work. So, okay. So I think we have a good idea of what's in the die cuts, that kind of thing. So now I have a lot of stuff out here. Lots of coffee stuff. So what I'm going to do, you guys have seen this. I'm just going to take this and kind of put this aside here. I want these to stay on here, and maybe one of these. The hello I can use at another time. This needs to get on here. So we'll figure that out. And maybe what I could do, it'd be nice if I could use both of those. We'll see. But what I could do is maybe like on border underneath here or something like that. Or, you know, just a little strip underneath. This needs to go on the layout. I've had this way too long, and I don't want it sitting in my stash anymore. I don't think there's any, oh, there is. Never mind, there are coffee stickers here. So I could use smaller coffee stickers as well, and that green would work with this. So I think that's good. So we'll keep that. This is a hashtag sticker book. And when was this from? 2017. Those things last forever. The other thing I grabbed is my Stash Curated Best of Both Worlds kit from August. I have not been scrapbooking as much as I love to. I've been so busy that I ended up not using as much of it as I wished. And I also have September's that I've barely broken into. So thanks, Cynthia. That's nice that you love the real-time stuff because, you know, craziness ensues then. So I haven't had a chance to use much of these two kits. And the August one was kind of based on B-sides. So these are the B-sides here. just the more like faux solid sides, right? And then I added in a few papers that I thought would coordinate them. This is a really easy way. You just take, like I looked at this paper. Here's a red paper that would work with it. That's a great way to curate a kit because I curate them for my staff. So what I wanted to do, I'm going to set this paper aside. I can use it if I need to, and maybe that should just go in this, that August kit. We'll set this guy not too far aside because I want to use some of the pieces from that. But let's look and see if I can find some things that might work. So here's a red, which I like. It's a little bit more blue than this red, but I think that would work. I'm hoping, ooh, look at that. What's that green like? That green is beautiful with this. Here's another red. Okay, so I think this red works a lot better. Look at these two. You'll see what I'm talking about. So that's a lot of paper for you guys to look at. See how this looks a little bit more orangey? I'm hoping you're going to be able to pick that up. And this has a little bit more blue to it. You can see them when they're side by side. So this actually works better with this red right there. So the star will live again. And this is the piece I was hoping to find in here. I have this blue heart paper, and I think that works really well with that. So my plan is to use some of that as background, some of that as matting paper. Just gonna stick this back in that. I have that kit in one of these iris carts. Then, oh, and I didn't even think about this. I also included one of my Bella Boulevard star papers here. Or what? These are a 6x8 paper pad. And they had a blue in here. So maybe I wouldn't have to chop up that whole one. And this is part of that kit. So I have so many of these, you guys. I have 3 of them. So Bella Boulevard used to be produced, and the main offices were very close to where I live. And they used to do a sale in November every year. And you could go get really inexpensive product there. The one thing is that it, what am I looking to say? You had to buy multiples of things a lot of times. So this blue is fantastic with this as well. What about, is there a green here? There is a green that works too. So I'm going to grab those. I think the red is a little bit more, yeah, this is more to the blue side of the red. That's what I thought. So we're just gonna pop that in there as well. I'm thinking, so I should tell you why I'm taking background paper. Let's pull this aside. So the reason I'm picking background paper is anytime that I have a design like this, where it goes off the paper, it always feels to me like I need something behind it. So that's a big concern. Oh, it does. Jackie just pointed out that that goes with the red in my journal card for the red coffee cup too. So that's a great idea. And because that journaling card is from this collection, that's why that's working. So anyway, I always feel like I need to contain this. So what I'm going to do, again, this is from the True Stories paper pad. I'm going to chop that off first to see, because then I'm looking at the paper the way it's really going to be on the layout. And I think I can make a better judgment about whether I think this needs to be chopped off as we're working. So I have both of these lovely pieces to map my photo here. Let's look and see what we think about that. I love this because I feel like I'm losing the background here. And I don't love this. Ooh, this is always a good lesson because I like this better. It feels dark to me. Maybe what I need, let me look and see if there's a yellow here. I know there's a yellow in the collection. Let's see if there's a yellow that might work because it might pop off of that. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of experimentation to figure out if stuff works or not. So here's yellow, and that's okay. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. Thank goodness, right? But this is very buttery compared to this, which is more lemony. And you guys, I have an interior design background, so when I look at papers, I can see those things pretty quickly. Not everybody can do that, and that's okay. That's something that you get to do with practice. I'm finally getting my mom, after 30 years, to speak of color that way. So not loving that. This is so far my favorite. I have that journaling card that needs to come in somewhere. That's pretty, there's a lot going on there. So I'm thinking if I'm going to do anything, I might want to get this journaling card on whatever paper I'm using. This is another thing I got. This is a 6x6 doodle bug pad. And again, very buttery, orangey versus lemony. The only thing I can think of is, I think I had a Chamel Wish paper in one of my kits. And that's a yellow paper. So hang on a second. Sorry, guys. Thought I had a Chamel Wish paper in one of them anyway. Maybe I used it up already. Oh, I'm looking at the September kit, and I think it's in the August kit, and that's why I'm not finding it. So let's try this again. Sorry, guys. Exciting, because you can't see what I'm doing because I'm off camera. Okay, here we go. Is it in here? Maybe not. Nope, it's not. So we either used it or I never had it in there. So now we go to my faux solid papers, and I'm looking more lemony. Looking to see if I can find that Wish paper. I'm trying to think what that was. Never Grow Up. So I did pull all my Chamel papers if I need to look for it. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Here it is. It was sitting in my yellow papers. Don't ask me why I can remember all these paper names, and I can't remember to pick up what to pick up at the grocery store. So this is really lemony. So I was hoping that like a yellow behind here would look good. The other thing I don't love about this is that it's a lot of words. Okay, so far that's good. Grab some of my extra pieces. Good match. So either of these two scraps would work. So this is the Boulevard. This is Doodlebug. Is that the same Doodlebug? I think it is. Yep. Except this one looks really dark compared to that one. So let's look at how these two are going to go. Again, it's live, so you get a lot of the meandering from my head. So Cynthia, hopefully you really meant that about liking these. Okay, so what does yellow look like? I actually think I like that better. Now, I could put some blue behind that, though, if I wanted to. So, yellow, blue. Yellow. I might be changing my mind. This is a weird turquoise color that I don't think I have any of that. It's kind of a really dusty turquoise. I might have a piece right here that might work. Let's see how this looks with it. Okay, so yellow, turquoise. That I think you really do lose a lot. The other color I didn't really check, it was red, right? Thanks, Cynthia, for really meaning that. Oh, so far. Okay, so let's get some opinions here, guys. What do you think? There's red. Okay, this is my favorite yellow. I think it'll sit right there. So maybe there's yellow. There's red. I'll tell you why I'm thinking what I'm thinking when we choose. There's the blue. And then here's the green. We should give that a fair shake too, right? Okay, Jackie's voting red. I can tell you I definitely don't like the yellow. I think it washes that out too much. Okay. Any of the yellows. With green, I think it kind of fights with this a little bit, and there's so much green in the background, we're calling attention to the grass and not that. Okay. That blue's not helping. Okay, so blue. Again, I think this is kind of disappearing here. So my instinct was the red, guys. I wasn't going to tell you that to the very end. I wanted you to look at why. But yes, I would agree with both Jackie and Carol. I really like this red a lot better than I do any of the other colors. I think it really pops that off of there. So that card goes there. Back to, I think Jackie said at one point too, it really looks good with the coffee cup. There's lots of stuff we could layer here, so let's see. Just want to do this just to get the width that I'm going to want on this, whatever that width is going to be. It would be such a shame if that delighted thing had to go away. I don't want it to. The delighted cup, but this is getting really big, and this will have to, the background here will have to be, Cynthia was voting for the red too, so I think we definitely it's a unanimous red. That's kind of white. See, this is bothering me again. This is why I never use this guy. All right, I think what I need to do is stop fooling around. Let's get something glued down. So that's going to be this. I am going to put a bit of a wide border on here. I think once I have less of a sheet to work with, it might help me figure this out a little bit easier. See, and then I can kind of get that. Okay, so I'm thinking about that for and I can always cut this off a little bit if I decide I like something else a little bit better, like it a little bit smaller. Ooh, okay. That wants to be cut off. I really want to save that cup, but I don't think it's going to work. Okay, the other thing that maybe I could do, since I've given up on that, is I could border this again with some stars here. Maybe cut this down right here, and then use that blue border for the stars. Oh, and then this is what I didn't finish. And then pop the green behind here, like in that. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. So let's cut this. And I'll show you the difference in just a second about why I like this one. It feels like stuff is falling off. Okay. So we kind of have an idea of what's going on here for colors. So we have this. Looks pretty good. There's a lot going on here though. When I do this, what happens? Like pulls everything in, bordering design. Off the bottom, I think I'm going to just cut 1/2 inch off the bottom, and then I'm going to cut 1/4 inch off of either side because the design is pretty even side to side here. So that's something to look at when you're going to border a layout. Make sure that you look at that, how you're going to have to cut it. So that green paper there, by the way, is Bella Boulevard's Spooktacular, and it is the Pumpkin Day paper. This is a little bit older collection. If it's not from last year, it's from the year before, but they don't date their collection, so I can't tell you that for sure. The red, okay, so there we go. And it's just a thin border. It's not very thick right now. I'm going to leave it. I'm not convinced. I might need to cut a little bit more off. I think I do. I'm going to cut another 1/4 inch off the bottom of this. I don't know why it is, but when I'm doing a border, I really like my paper to be 11 1/4 inch square. I don't know what it is, but that's just to my eye what looks good. So whatever looks good to your eye works. Hopefully you guys are still with me. There we go. Yeah, I like that much better with that wider border. So let's get this down so we actually have something down here. Hey, yay. We're 1/2 hour in and I've made 2 cuts on paper. Well, I guess I have a little bit more than that done. Some layouts are like that, right? Okay, let's go back and see. So I liked this Good Morning. I can't forget this. There's my, that could also go up here in a cluster. So thanks, Cynthia. This flower might come in handy right down there. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. I'm going to straighten that out. I was going to let it kind of, and now that I'm okay with losing that delighted piece, I'm feeling a little bit more like I like this a little bit better. The My Favorite works. Okay, then let's get that coffee cup in there. It has a weird, let me get one that looks good. Okay, so we have that. Then I just want to stick, now that we have that, I think this needs to be inked because I'm losing edges of things here. Just thinking, do we want that behind there? Does that help us see this a little bit better? It's busy, guys. No doubt about it. I'm trying to pull a lot of stuff off of here as well too, so that you can see it without stuff everywhere. I actually kind of like, where did I purchase it to go cut? That's no problem, Stella. It's Chamel, and it's old. It's from her second collection called True Stories from 2014. So that's where it's from. It's very old. I just remembered when I was going to do a coffee layout that I had it. So, and that's fine. If you miss it, that's what questions are for, right? Okay, I'm liking clusters, the clusters so far the way they look. How much more we're gonna get on here, I'm not sure. So here's the other thing. Right now, see all these holes behind things? Not a big fan of that personally. I really like getting, really like it's not the holes, it's where it crosses two pieces of paper. I should rephrase that. I don't like that. Like here, I think this is okay. Where it's all over that, my favorite is all on the red paper. Totally good with that. It's something like that where it's halfway in there. So I think what I'll do maybe is this piece of paper, which works with that aqua. I think I'll put it behind all that wood veneer. And I'll show you that in just a second. Let's get this inked up, because that I also think is going to make a huge difference in defining the papers, and it'll help focus you so that, because right now it's making my eyes go a little bit crazy. I don't know about you guys, but it is. And it may still make my eyes look a little bit crazy. Honestly, I like this paper. I'm not in love with the colors. Does that make any sense? I don't know how to, they're a little muted for me. That's what it is. But I do really like this collection. Okay, so Penny said she was thinking the same thing about the openings in the wood veneers. Yeah, it just bugs me. If it doesn't bug you, don't worry about it. Don't stick stuff behind it. It's just I think it's really a personal preference. So there's not enough of this paper for me to get it to go all the way behind here. So what I'm doing is I'm just like, I can't get it to come over to this edge unless I take this off, and I think I'm not going to do that because I think this blue was fighting with that blue, and right now I like it. So I'm going to glue this on here. The blue star paper is from Bella Boulevard pads, which again is older. I'm scrapbooking with new product in quite a while other than Christmas. I did buy Christmas stuff to use this year because gosh knows if any of you follow my December daily, I never have enough product, right? As I was thinking the other day about, it's going to be time to do that stash video that I do every year. And last year where I said I wasn't going to need to buy a heck of a lot more. And what did I do? The other thing that needs to be inked is this paper here. This is one of the reasons you want to keep if you layer, you want to keep your glue adhesive, that's what I really want, towards the middle until you're pretty sure of where things are glued down. And then I usually glue my edges a little bit more because right now it's not a big deal for me to pull this up and ink it. Oops and oops. Oh well. I don't have another piece of paper, so that's just going to have to stay there, and I'm not going to worry about it. Now I could perhaps change like where that is, but I don't like that because it's coming across the speech bubbles going the wrong direction. So we're just going to deal. And maybe what I'll do is purposefully rough up these edges a little bit more. Sometimes just making it look intentional just need one down here. Okay. All right, now it looks like I just made a mess, so that's good. Instead, looks like I meant that to happen. All right, so now all I'm going to do is cut a little piece of this dark aqua paper. This is always the fun part. And I'm just going to back it. And I do want glue on that wood veneer because the paper will be too, I'll background paper, but this will be, that's, I think, much more legible now. Works with that. So that, I feel good about that. Let's just glue that on. You're welcome, Stella. I never mind questions. Those are always good questions. Maybe there's some true stories out there somewhere. Maybe digital too. If you can print digital, if you like it. I know American Crafts has done some of the collections digitally, and I know some of Chamel's collections were done digitally. So if that's an option for you, if you like the paper. I think I did have this on here, right guys? Let's get this inked up too. The one thing that's kind of nice about paper that's this busy, you don't have to do that much embellishing, and I'm embellishing a lot actually. Okay, so we need another. This one will be a little bit trickier. Just because the shape is a little weird here. So tomorrow, it is beautiful here in the upper Midwest where I live. Our fall colors are just gorgeous at the moment, and my area will probably be at peak color next weekend. So, dear boyfriend and I are going to go adventuring tomorrow, about an hour and a half north of where we live, where it's supposed to be peak color this weekend. We're going to go to a winery. The birthplace of the Republican Party is in Wisconsin, and I have never been there, and I kind of like history, so we'll probably do that. But I'm most excited really just the fall colors, because we're all photographers, right? If you scrapbook, you're a photographer. Not sure I'm loving that flower there. Feels like it's getting in the way. I think this is what we're going to do. Just a plain wood veneer. Ooh, sorry, that was not a nice noise. And what I'll do is we'll put this up on some foam tape here. Yeah, I like that a lot better with just the wood veneer and not this in there. Look at that, and I made it on it. I'm so happy because that this ruler has been with me for a long time. Okay, I mean 7 years. Seriously. It's almost as old as my oldest grandchild. Okay, so I think that, yep. There we go. So that's on there. And then my favorite, trying to decide, am I going to add, I think I will put this color behind it just because it's behind everything else. So that makes sense. I was saying before that I'm trying to clear stuff off so that you guys can see what this really is looking like a little easier, because sometimes I think on the screen it's a little bit harder, but really it's also for me, because when I get too much on my desk it's hard for me to figure out what things are going to look like. And I just lost that piece of paper, I think. There it is. Oh, I think this might be not long enough. It is not. Let's try again. Amazing and exciting viewing here. Scraps of scraps here. Okay. Then I'll just trim it this way. And then now all of these are the same. And my favorite, referring to, this is one of my favorite things to do on a weekend. So the question is, do we just keep adding those coffee cups, which I'm kind of liking? I don't know that. Let's see. We've got the It's a New Day here. I could cut that smaller, just to get something different with its paper, but something other than that wood. I think that's almost distracting. Yeah, it is. This is busy enough that I think that's distracting. Maybe what I need to do, instead of putting one up here, I think maybe just there. And then you have like the two on each side. That looks good to me. Okay, let's do that. And again, this is a really funny shape to cut. This may take me just a second. Oops. Sorry guys, apparently I can't cut and talk at the same time. All right, I think this is gonna work. I'm really liking that. Now the question is, what do I do for lettering here? Because, oh my. Do it this way? Yes, I think so, because then they're on kind of opposite sides. Lettering. Oh, that's cool, Stella. Yeah, the leaves are definitely changing in the Midwest. I live in southern Wisconsin, so that by next weekend, I think it'll pretty much all be changed in Wisconsin. And there's my Wisconsin accent coming through. Wisconsin. Okay. I'm adding foam tape because it's going to sit on top of that. Notice I haven't glued this down yet because I haven't quite committed to This is a little tricky because it's covering the my. Okay, there we go. I like that better. Okay, so I haven't used any die cuts, but I've used two really old wood veneer speech bubbles, and I've used this. Now, if I was Chanel, I would probably put gold lettering on this. And I think I'm going to see what it looks like. If I have an alpha that works in gold. Golden sparkly, I'm thinking. And I honestly, oh, golden sparkly Fitzgerald, which is Schmel. And then if I was Schmel, I would add some mist to this, which I am not. I should never mist. Years ago, I dumped a mist over on carpeting. My old scrapbook room was in our basement at the time, and so the carpeting down there wasn't very good. It had gone through a few kids and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it wasn't the worst thing in the world to happen, but it also didn't look pretty. I love this. I love this alpha. I love any of the Fitzgerald alphas. Cynthia says, she's from Minnesota and I have no accent. Minnesota? I did okay there, but not great. I used to live from the Twin Cities in Wisconsin. So, and I have some who live in Minnesota. So a friend as well, now that I think about it. I get to Minnesota at least once a year. Still love it when I go home and I see downtown Minneapolis. I feel like I've come home. And I have been gone from there for 30, almost 35 years. I just dated myself. I cannot be gone from there 35 years. Apparently I was 2 when I left, right? Okay, so morning coffee. And actually, I think the gold was a really good decision here as I'm looking at this. So one of the reasons I didn't glue this down is I didn't know how big this was going to be. So I wanted to wait until I had that size, and then I knew I could glue down from there. So I'm just going to cut. A lot of times I'll do this because sometimes, even though that wax paper is clear, it bothers me a little bit. Okay, so there's the morning coffee, and I'm kind of liking that arrangement there. It's really busy, you guys, but I still really like it. So let's get this down, and because I'm not going to mist, I need a little, the wood needs a little bit more glue on it. It's coming off. Because I'm not going to mist, I need to get some gold in another place or two because the gold right now looks like it's out of place. Sort of. Gold is a neutral, I guess, so it could be okay. But to me, my eye is saying get more gold on the layout. How about that? Ooh, I thought of another way I could get some gold on the layout too, besides what I'm going to do. So hey, Tammy. Tammy says she's late to the party. That's okay. I was late to the party, and I'm the one doing the party, hosting the party. So the paper is Chamel True Stories, and it was from the 12 by 12 paper pad, and it's from 2014. So I've had this paper for 7 years, and it was time to get on a layout. One of the suggestions I made to Stella when she asked about it was that if you don't have this, I know that American Crafts did some of her collections digitally, if you have the ability to print digitally, if you really like the paper. If it's just one of those things that you have to have. This is, I need to get this on a layout because it's so beautiful in its time. I think I've tried to put this on before, but because it is so busy, I think you need the right photos for this. And just to kind of review, we helped tone it down a little bit by putting a border around it. And then I made an inking mistake and just added ink to a bunch of corners here as well. That's the other thing we did, so that it looked a little bit more intentional. Okay, so morning coffee there. This alpha does have just 2 asterisks. So trying to figure out where we're gonna do, maybe here and here. This feels like it needs one up here though, but then that doesn't have any. And there's gold right there. But then I feel like we need one there. The other thing I can do is I have my bag of punched out stuff. So when I have a little bit of either foil or gold paper left, I punch out, oh here, maybe some stars. I punch out stars and hearts, and then I just use them like this. So we need to get some foil. And I do the same thing. I have a little bit of silver paper in here, but not much. Apparently I don't have very many. If I could find, well, let's see, 1, 2. I just found a second one of that, or not. The hard thing is that sometimes I don't have 3. Here we go. I think I have 3 of this color star. So let's see. Maybe the asterisks, I'm not going to be able to use them. And then if we get some enamel dots on here, because I really think I need 3, because I have 3 clusters. Okay, I'm liking that, because now that gold, do you see what I was saying? Now that those are on there, now that gold makes a little bit more sense because it's appearing somewhere else. And I have no idea where these stars are from. Which, you know, it could be American Crafts, it could be Michael's, not sure. Just gonna add these in, and then we'll find some like enamel dots or something, I think. And I am liking how the paper has a lot of color to it, and then all the embellishment really is very neutral. We have wood and we have gold right now. Just gonna get these down, like that corner needed to be down, or that will flip out up a little bit. Now, where I made the mistake up here, will we as scrapbookers know that I made a mistake and then covered it up? Yes, but will everybody else? No. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm looking for like blues. I think I want navy. I can't tell if that's navy or black. That's navy. Okay. And it's a good match for that. So my little tool here. Oh, lovely. There's only 2 big dots there. Okay. Oh, this might be a place where I might want to bring in some red too. Hang on a second, guys, because that blue disappeared off here because the paper is blue there. So I'm just looking, here's my little 31 bag, and that's what I keep my enamel dots in. My copious amounts of enamel dots that I need to start working through. Although, really, this isn't so bad because I used to not be able to get my hands in here, and I can now. Okay, I think we're going to go to my favorite new Altenew. That's the only one I have. Oh, here we go. There we go. There's that red. Again, blue red. And then that's a more orange red. So we're going to go with the more orange red. And then I'll just kind of bounce back and forth between which one I'm using. It's bad when you're using tweezers and you can't even get the enamel dot to behave itself. Oh my goodness. So next Friday, as long as I have, is M number 3, who's my for her super special grandma day, as the kids are now. And we are going to craft together, which I'm so excited about. She loves to craft. So I'm going to go to the dollar store and buy all the things. And we'll have a good time together. I'm so looking forward to that chance. Because, you know, it's my job to warp all these grandchildren and make them love crafting, right? Okay, so then I'll do like a little blue enamel dot up here. So red and blue in each cluster depending on what works well. Let's pop a blue up here so that they're kind of bouncing around there. And then, let's see, maybe red down here. And maybe a little, trying to figure out where to do that. There. Okay. All right, guys, I think that this one is done. So these enamel dots are Winter Market from Cartabella, which I think was last year. And then the Altenew Tea Party. So that Altenew is my favorite sheet of enamel dots. I'm just going to grab some of these pieces and throw them back in this die cut box so I don't lose them, because I do have another layout that we can do. Kind of came up with another one. So there we go. So this needs to glue down again because that wood veneer is pretty heavy here. Crazy, crazy busy paper, but actually I think it worked out okay in the end. I don't think it looks too, well, to my eye at least, I don't think it looks too big, too busy, even though it is very busy. And that's a personal preference for sure. All right, so there's that. Then just kind of playing around here to get some stuff out of my way. The stuff is going on the floor. So now I have a few of those left, which is lovely. So there's the first one, and glad that I finally got to use that True Stories paper. That's exciting. Then I think I'm going to grab this photo for my next one. I have a choice of doing this, which is, I read this amazing book. I started it right before September 11th and then read it, I think, into the next week or so, called The Only Plane in the Sky. And it literally is eyewitness accounts of people who were somehow involved in 9/11, people from the towers who made it out of the towers, spouses of people who were in the towers, kids, but also people on, like spouses of people on the planes, air traffic controllers, people who were in the Pentagon, the fire departments in Shanksville, people who were with President Bush on the plane, people who were on the cruise for that were not the cruise, but you know, the people who were involved in traffic safety, lots of policemen and firemen, and the head of the FAA on that day, it was his first day on the job, which they may have talked about that at that point in time, but I forgot about that until I read this. So he was there, one of the gate agents, air traffic controllers. It's an amazing book, but have Kleenex ready because I cried a lot in it, but I'm so glad I read it. So I posted this to Instagram, I think, on the day that I started it, or to Facebook, one of the two. And as I was going through that die cut box, I found these typewriters, which I thought were appropriate for a book about 9/11. I won't journal this tonight for sure because I'll have to really think about what I want to say about that. Well, I should. You know, it's just gonna have to be one of those times where I'm, you know, not in the mood, but sort of in the mood, I guess. Yeah, that's the right word. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. The other thing I could do is this. These are 3 photos from a used bookstore that I was in a town near us. And they had these cool things. They carved out books or just used the covers, and they made little rooms inside of them and lit them. So this was really cool. So it was a library. So that's my other thing I could do. And just, you know, as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking these little typewriters are kind of cutesy, and I want that to be cutesy. So executive decision there, sort of decision anyway. Now here's the one thing is I didn't think about what kind of paper I wanted to use here. I did think I had a piece of book paper here, but I don't. So I'm going to look. These are from Chamel's collection, and there are, you know, they're borders of books, so I could use that. This is actually a book paper as well, so I could use that. I have, this is all from Field Trip, guys, by the way. I have a little composition paper there. I'm just going to look and see. There's some library card paper, so I'll probably grab that, even though this isn't a library. Let's see. Just looking to see if there's like a good background here. And I think the answer is no. I do have some more Field Trip in a pad, so let's see. So this was a kind of a fun collection. I'm going to need it to be simple. There's a graph paper there that was good. I like this red paper. This is one of my favorite papers from the collection. That could be good. I was hoping that I had a piece of that composition paper left, but I don't think I do. I'm waiting for more of my grandsons to get into dinosaurs, but we might be past that. M1 really loved dinosaurs when he was little. But his 5-year-old brother, that wasn't his thing. Maybe the 2-year-old guy will get into it. Or maybe my granddaughter will. Okay, so I don't see that composition paper. Let's see what we can do if this will work. And I always have the B-sides of all that stuff. This will be good because of the typewriters there. And then I have a sticker book from Chamel's very first collection. Yes, yes, I do. I'm trying to find it. I'm just going to grab it. I don't know if I have anything that will be... There's a great big coffee cup sticker. Ooh, look at that. That typewriter's off. So this must be from True Stories. And little typewriter font. So that would be good to use on this page somewhere. There's also like a little clip. This is Chamel's first collection sticker book. Okay, so let's cut these off. Normally I'm a little bit more prepared and I've like trimmed these so you don't have to watch this exciting. And so a lot of times when I trim photos, I use my Creative Memories photo trimmer just because it's easy. And then sometimes I forget to hold this little plastic piece down and I have to do what I just did, which is trim it twice. Although be careful because I did chop the end of my finger off once. Yeah. wasn't pretty. But no layouts were harmed. I didn't bleed on it. Okay. So this red paper is going on here somewhere, so I'm going to trim off the border there. And this is, again, from Field Trip. And we want to do it like this. And we could use that border. Actually, what we could do is use 2 of these. Maybe just, okay. Then we have this gigantic typewriter sticker here, which I can write on. I think that would need to come down to a corner here. And then maybe we could add, the wood veneer is a little bit too big. Probably the typewriter, then maybe a little typewriter up here. So we could echo those 2 typewriters. This guy I want to put on some waxed paper. There it is. So we could do something like that. That guy I think is a little big. And I was going to look up the name of this bookstore and I forgot. So I think that's simple, but that typewriter is so darn big. I think it's not a bad thing for this, there not to be too many things. So this is the border from the Far, Far Away paper. And what I'm going to do, so I can put this on a line. I've been doing this more lately. I'm using my grid on my mat. And so then I can make sure that this is at least straight. Okay, and this is just a little bit bigger on top than that is there. Then we can glue these down. And now if you wanted a little more separation, like a different color, you could do that. So for instance, just trying to see if you wanted a little separation, or if you were me and you wanted a little separation, which is why I'm doing this, you could do something like that and then mount those all on there with just a little bit of a separation so that they're not as, it's a lot of books on books here. What I'm going to do is take a look at this and see, this green paper is probably not the paper to use, but, or that particular one anyway. I actually kind of like that. So that little green dot that we just used on the other layout would be fabulous on this one. I don't know that I have another piece of that though. I do have a green star paper here. Might be able to do that. I'll look and see if I have another one of those little green dots because I just like how that looked. And I said it might not be the right one. Let's look and see. Okay, I actually think this is going to be better here. So how much do we want revealed here? Probably not much, just a line or two here. I think just 2. So that means Tammy says she uses the line on her mat because her eyes are always crooked. Definitely mine too. Okay, so 2. It's my little fairy house. There we go. This was such a cool find. We went up to go to like a winery and look at other stuff on this day. I need to actually trim this photo just a little tiny bit more. And we were just walking around the square in this tiny little town. Well, not tiny, but small town. And saw this bookstore, and I said, can we go in the bookstore? Not like asking permission, but you know, are you like okay with like wandering through the bookstore? And my guy is just so sweet. He's like, sure. And he really doesn't like bookstores, I found out later. Well, I shouldn't say he doesn't like bookstores, but he doesn't finish. Oh, here's another fun fact from, I just finished my 101st book of the year as I was getting ready to start the live tonight. So crazy. And I do both audio and physical books. I always have an audiobook going. I always have a physical book going. Sheer craziness. And my mother is retired and I'm reading more than she is, which I don't shame her for it, but sort of. When do I sleep? You know, I actually, Tammy, I carve out time in small increments. So I will read for, I don't have much of a lunch hour at work, and I work for myself, so that is my own fault. But I will carve out 10 or 15 minutes while I'm eating lunch. And it just kind of centers me and, you know, gets me just to stop thinking about work for a little bit. And then I usually read a little bit when I'm coming home. I listen to my audio book on the way to and from work every day. And then if I'm just out running errands, like if I have to run the 5 minutes to the grocery store, I literally will listen to my audiobook for that 5 minutes. So it's just stuff like that. It's not as hard as you think it is. And I did not. Last year, when I was staying home a lot more and didn't have a boyfriend, I read 70 or 75 books. I don't remember. And I think that was probably the most books I've ever read. And I thought that was kind of incredible. And then this year happened. I did not, by any means, set a goal of reading 75 books or 100 books. It just kind of happened. My goal was 40 because I knew I was moving. And I used to have a 35-minute commute to work. So that's how I started listening to audiobooks. I found I was a happier person and less likely to get mad at somebody doing something stupid on the roads if I was listening to an audiobook. So, anyway, yeah, I just carve out time just a little bit. I do scrapbook less than I did before because I'm listening to audiobooks, which that part I don't love. So I think what I might do is bring this off the edge here. I'm going to bring that one up here. I like this guy down here, but I'm going to get him on there, just him. Apparently this is male. See what that looks like here. Maybe just that corner there. The good news is that's not all that sticky. So more oldie but goodie stuff on here, guys. That is one thing for sure. If you're scrapping old stuff from your stash, you feel a big sense of accomplishment when it lands on your layouts. Okay, so I just looked to see if there was anything. These are stickers from her very first collection. And there's a big sticker here that says Born to Inspire, which is kind of how I feel about reading. And there's one here that says Inspired, which kind of disappears because it's pink. Just going to see. We'll just test that. I think that looks a little bit better up there, but then I don't know that I like this down here. These stickers have pieces from the sticker below them, which is why I keep having to trim them. Chop this sticker off a little bit. I'm going to leave one asterisk on there now, and if I need to, I might even take the other one off. But I think this is going to work. Okay. And then that Inspired. So make sure we get that kind of up there. There we go. Something needs to be not flat on this layout. I'm going to put this down flat. I need stars or hearts or wood veneer or something. Wood veneer might not be a bad idea on here because it is kind of like, you know, old chairs, and there were wooden bookshelves here. I'm just going to look and see. I don't think I'll like the pink on here. The blue's not right. Yellow would be okay for the hearts. These are from Ellie's Studio. That I like just a little bit of extra color there, and maybe another one up in here. Yeah, I think that I like that. Just looking to see if there's another color. Oh, maybe I might be rethinking at least down here. Yeah, I like a little bit of turquoise in here. Oops, apparently that wants to stick there. Okay, so I like that extra little bit there. I think the yellow is good there. All right, so those are Ellie's Studio Puffy stickers from 2020. So that's looking okay. Title-wise, I think I'm going to leave it as is for now. I could, on the back, where was that? Not on the back, but on one of these sheets where I found the big typewriter, there's these stickers, and I could put like the name of the store in here, but I have to look that up. So I'm going to leave that off and not do anything more with that for now, but I'll leave this out here. So as soon as I'm done, and by the way, you guys, I haven't posted up in a little bit. If you ever want to see my layouts and you have a Flickr account, I'm Kelly Theater O'Black, and I post all my layouts eventually to Flickr. I'm probably, oh gosh, I don't know, probably 20 layouts behind right now, but they do land up there eventually. And they I actually put them in albums according to how I see them, because the whole reason I started posting to Flickr is that if anything happened to any of the albums, I have them digitally, the layouts digitally saved, so I could reprint if it meant something, you know, like God forbid that there would be a fire or something like that. Okay, so we have that. Now it's time for some dots. And what color dots should we do here? I want to do some green. This green goes really well. So let's see. I think that'll look good. I think it'll bring, I think some green needs to come up to that corner there. And I think I'll do all green here. Anyway, so you can go to Flickr and you can see all of my layouts if you want to do that. If you're ever curious what something looks like. And if I remember, I'll show it to you the next time I'm on, but I can't, that'll be actually, let me think, it won't be next week, maybe the weekend after that I'll be able to do a live. I have a very special trip coming up. My mom is turning 80, and my sister, my brother, and my brother-in-law and I are flying to visit her in Arizona. The only one of us that she knows is coming is my sister. The rest of us are all surprised. And we did something similar for her 75th birthday, except it was just my sister and brother and me, because my brother-in-law could not go. And we called her from the airport right before we flew out and said, we'll see you in about 4 hours or something like that. It was really fun, but she was super excited. Okay, so I'm moving this because I had the heart over here, which looked great when I first did it, but I didn't like it once I put the enamel dot. It looked too separated. We're just going to change that a little. There we go. Okay. Also could have done the turquoise, which maybe might be a little bit better, but is that important? Maybe, maybe not. Let me grab and see if I've got turquoise that I can work with color-wise. Thought I was done, guys. Let's just see if I like this better. I actually do. There's something about that green that I'm not liking. It's just a subtle little change, but I think I'm going to be happier. Ooh. This dot is sticking to this sticker, and I have to be careful because I don't want to rip the whole thing. There we go. Small crisis averted there. And now that dot doesn't want to go back on the sheet. So I'm sure there's stuff behind it. Okay, almost got it, guys. Sorry. Okay, so this color of enamel dots from Altenew is Tropical Forest. I order mine right from Altenew. And I was able to really get, oh my gosh, I probably bought 5 or 6 packs when I did that. Just because when I did it, the new colors had come out for fall. I think they were, I don't know if they were specifically fall colors, but their new release had just come out. And I was finding that I was missing colors. Like I just didn't have, like my turquoise, I didn't have turquoise. So it's kind of nice. But you can buy these also at scrapbook.com and Cherry on Top for sure. Oops, I think I picked a dot that's not the right color. Or is it okay? Nope, it's okay. Anyway, Now we're getting it. Okay, yeah, I like this much better. Those green ones were standing out a little bit too much to me. Now I think the blue adds a little bit of kind of shine, but it doesn't stand out. Okay, I think I'm done. Like I said, the only thing that I might add is either the name of the bookstore here or here after I look it up, but I may just leave it as it is right now. So that is the two layouts for tonight. I think that's all I'm going to do. Let me grab the other layout using oldie but goodie stuff here. I'm really actually liking quite a bit how these two, oops, sorry, my mat slid, you guys. Sorry about that. You were looking at that all very crooked. I apologize. So there you go. So there are the two layouts for tonight. I hope you guys are well. It was nice to spend a Friday night with you for a change. I've been very lax in being able to do that lately. But anyway, so you guys have a great weekend wherever you are. Enjoy your weekend. If you're in the upper Midwest, go out and hike and find some leaves, because gosh knows they're going to be gone and blown off the trees pretty soon. So you guys take care, and it was great seeing you tonight. Bye, everybody.